continues to assert falsely that their parents tried to kill them that night and then concocted all these additional lies.
It waited a long time to get some justice.
A chance for freedom for the Menendez brothers today as they serve life in prison in San Diego.
When federal leadership fails, local government must lead.
What the county is doing amid cuts at the federal level.
The tariffs are larger than forecasters had expected, certainly larger than we expected.
A new warning about how tariffs could impact our economy.
Childhood cancer won't pay for your mortgage or your groceries, but Teen Parker for Life will.
It's 6 a.m. on Thursday, April 17th, and you're up with CBS 8. Breaking news, one person is dead and another is under arrest after a wrong-way crash on the 8.
We want to mention all eastbound lanes are closed right now on the freeway near College Avenue. We know that gets busy in the morning hours. So this happened just before 3 this morning. CHP telling us a woman was killed after her car was sent down an embankment there. The wrong-way driver was then arrested on suspicion of DUI.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining us here at 6 a.m. I'm Chris Groh, in for Eric Connor.
And I'm Nada Iranpour. We want to get you caught up on your forecast this morning. The chance of rain is out there. Let's check in with Evan. A big one or not really?
It's about a 1 in 2, 40, 50% chance.
Okay.
So I'd say chances are high that a lot of us will see some damp roads as we head out for the morning commute. There's also a good chance that you might see some drizzle, some mist. But there also is a good chance that by the afternoon, we'll see some sunshine. So it's a little mix of everything over the course of the day. If you're up in North County, we've got plenty of showers that have popped up over just the last 2 hours or so. Same goes for down around the international border. Over the course of the day, if you're farther east, you've also got a better chance for seeing those showers, especially across the mountains. That and Chris.
All right, Evan, thank you for that. Eric and Lyle Menendez back in the spotlight this morning, nearly 30 years after a jury convicted them of murdering their parents.
And today they are set to appear virtually for a resentencing hearing as they serve life in prison here in San Diego. And CBS 8's Regina Yarita is live in the studio with the latest developments. And Regina, a lot of focus has been put on this case recently.
Definitely a lot of attention on this case, and there could be a delay for today's hearing. We'll get to that in just a second. Now, it's been more than 3 decades since Lyle and Eric Menendez were both convicted for the murders of their parents without the possibility of parole. Today, they're currently serving time here in San Diego at Donovan State Prison. The resentencing, however, it begins in Los Angeles this afternoon, but pushback from the Los Angeles District Attorney has been pretty strong.
Do not meet the standards for resentencing. They do not meet the standards for rehabilitation.
Now, the brothers' attorney argued that a Netflix documentary helped persuade the former DA of Los Angeles to review the case. That's ultimately what led him to file a motion in support of resentencing. But the current DA disagreed with that motion. He had denied resentencing until a judge ordered to withdraw that decision. Interest in the brothers' case has skyrocketed in recent years. There's been multiple TV shows and documentaries raising questions about evidence that wasn't presented to the jury that convicted them. Evidence that includes detailing years of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse, including a letter written by Eric months before the murder alluding to sexual abuse. At the time of the murders, prosecutors believed Eric and Lyle were after their parents' multi-million-dollar estate. But family members of the Menendez brothers are, on the other hand, arguing that against that, hoping that they could get a second chance at life.
Giving people the chance to show who they are now, not just who they were in their worst moment.
And the Menendez brothers serving time in the county is not the only connection that they have to San Diego. The brothers also purchased their shotguns at a sporting goods on Convoy Street. We're keeping a close eye on this case, especially as the district attorney to the Los Angeles County has requested to delay that hearing today. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Regina, thank you very much for the update on that. And now a judge has approved another delay in the murder trial of Larry Miliete, now pushing it back into 2026. Miliete's defense attorney, Leanne Sabatini, filed a motion under seal, citing a personal health matter as the reason for the delay. Judge Enrique Camarena agreed to postpone the trial date to January 30th now. Larry Miliete was arrested in October of 2021 for the murder of his wife, Maya Miliete, and he remains in custody. Maya was reported missing in January 2021, and her body has not been found. This morning, we are learning new details about a rollover crash in New Mexico Tuesday that killed 2 Camp Pendleton Marines and left a third seriously injured. The base confirms the Marines were part of the 1st Marine Division attached to Joint Task Force Southern Border. They were on duty at the time, headed to El Paso as part of a reconnaissance mission, but they were not in a military vehicle. These are the first known military deaths tied to President Trump's expanded mission at the southern border. The names of all 3 Marines have not yet been released.
This morning, a new shelter for women and children experiencing homelessness will open downtown. Rachel's Promise Center for Women and Children will have 50 beds. It is expected to expand to 210 beds in the coming months. City leaders will open the center today, and women will start moving in next week. This comes as city data shows a sharp rise in homelessness among women, jumping from 29% to 42% since 2020. And today you're invited to learn about the county budget and how it affects you. There will be an open house to learn about county services. It's family friendly and kids could meet park rangers, adoptable animals, and check out emergency vehicles. It's happening at the County Operations Center in Kearney Mesa from 5 to 7 p.m. You're asked to register through the website on your screen. County Board of Supervisors will adopt a budget on June 24th. And in the face of threatened federal funding cuts, county leaders say they are finding innovative ways to make San Diego more self-sufficient. Last night's State of the County address laid out a blueprint for San Diego's future as support from Washington, D.C. for everything from health care to housing remains uncertain. Board of Supervisors Acting Chair Tara Lawson-Remer proposed a county-run Medicaid health plan for more than 900,000 San Diegans, as well as a proposal to free up millions of dollars in county reserves to help fund public health initiatives.
With Washington slashing essential services, San Diego will step up, and we will put our reserves to work for the people that they're meant to serve.
Lawson-Remer also proposed a one-time transfer fee on the top 1% of real estate transactions to fund more affordable housing options in the county.
And now this morning, South Bay leaders calling for President Trump to issue an executive order to fix the sewage crisis. They also called for steps to hold Mexico accountable if it does not stop the flow of raw sewage into the Tijuana River Valley. You see the group of city leaders gathering there. This includes restricting the export of potable water to Tijuana and limiting border crossings. On Sunday, President Trump was asked about this problem. He called it a disgusting situation. EPA Director Lee Zeldin set to visit the Tijuana River next Tuesday. All right, it is 6:07 now, and as you're waking up, do we need a sweatshirt with a hood?
I would be bringing one out just in case. If you're spending time outside, especially, that's going to be the case between now and about 11 a.m. that we'll run into some scattered showers.
Little raindrops. Yeah.
Little raindrops, enough to dampen the roads a bit. There's also going to be a very good potential for some afternoon sunshine. So you imagine kind of the dichotomy that we're working with here, which is showers at times, also sun at times, cooler than normal temperatures, and a breeze that is really being felt across our local mountains and deserts. Deserts in the 70s this afternoon, which is cooler than average by about 10, 15, and in some cases closer to 20 degrees. Same goes for the mountains. Coastline, inland, temperatures are mostly just within a few degrees of average with a good amount of cloud cover and those showers popping up on shore. Here's Julian over the next 12 hours or so. You can see how those wind speeds are going to steadily be increasing. We look at speeds between 20 and 30 miles per hour, wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour. No wind advisory, though, across our local mountains. Santee and El Cajon, 68 this afternoon, 66 for La Mesa, 62 for PB, and 60 for La Jolla as that afternoon high. We look up the coast to North County and are mainly in the 60s as well. 64 in San Marcos, Fallbrook, RB, Poway, and Ramona. And then you get all the way out to the mountains where Mount Laguna could be peaking at 48 degrees this afternoon in that cooler range. 73 for Borrego Springs and 75 for Ocotillo Wells. 5-day forecast shows that once that trough of low pressure exits to the east, after bringing us about 1/10 of an inch today, maybe 1/10 of an inch or so tomorrow, we'll be back to dry skies and warmer temperatures through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday showing that warming trend with Easter Sunday making it to 74 degrees across our inland valleys, cooling down only slightly as we get into the beginning of next week and not showing any strong chances for rain as we get into next week. So just today and tomorrow with some clouds, some gusty winds, and the strong likelihood of about 1/10 of an inch for each afternoon today and tomorrow. Let's check in on traffic. We want to take you back to that fatal crash that we had mentioned a little earlier. This is on the 8 eastbound at College Avenue, where we just were informed that we've started to see some reopenings of lanes on the 8 eastbound. So this crash was a wrong way vehicle crash that took place around 2:50 this morning, hours ago. But crews have been on scene investigating and clearing that crash. 2 vehicles involved. We know that that road was blocked up until just a few minutes ago, where traffic was being rerouted off at College Avenue. Now it looks like they've started to open up lane by lane, but we'll bring you more information once we see that the entirety of the 8 eastbound is reopened. Right now, it looks like that westbound traffic is actually doing all right as we head through the morning commute. Let's take a look at your border wait times, where it's an 80-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. You can get across much faster at the Otay Mesa Port of Entry. It'll only take you about 10 minutes to get across. Back to you.
Okay, Evan, thank you very much for the latest on that. Still ahead here, a stark warning about tariffs and our economy.
Plus, what's behind the increase in autism diagnosis rates in children and the new evidence about possible life on another planet.